The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
It's right about time again to swerve.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. That reminds me of Throw Psycho Circus. You remember Psycho Circus, the last studio album the original Kiss members made? The real Kiss members, not Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer. Remember Psycho Circus? Oh, welcome to the show. Now, I might start singing that every time the show starts. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little exuberant today. Maybe I'm just a little excited. Because I'll tell you what. This guest of mine, I've known for a very, very long time. And let me tell you how you know somebody's close to me. I did a couple of shows many years ago called Ring of Glory. People that know me know that those shows meant the world to me. My closest friends in the world were on this show. This individual was one of them. I'm probably going on close to... It's got to be close to 20 years knowing him. Multi-talented. No doubt the most underrated talent I've ever worked with in my life because he can do it all. And once you see him, you don't forget him because he is an entertainer through and through. I'm talking about the one and only Jason Sensation. Jason, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay. Thank you very much, Vince. Real pleasure to be on your show. Real honor, and it's been too long, my friend. Thanks for putting me over there big time.
Jason, what about that big intro I just gave you right there, bro?
No, you really put me over. That was awesome. Thank you very much, man. It means a lot to me.
Now, Jason, can we show everybody, can you take off the hat for a minute, show everybody the Chrome Dome? Because I want to get down to the story. What made you go to that look, bro?
Well, I was hanging on to the balding look for so long. I mean, I looked as much like Randy Savage as I sounded like him up top. But all of a sudden, an opportunity came with a couple of friends known as the Megan Boys, who are the Iron Sheik's nephews. They had Brutus at Beefcake at a show, and no one wanted their hair cut, so they knew that I was waiting for a big deal to finally chop off the sides and the back and match the top, and I had to go ahead and do it. Rubber Beefcake chopped it off.
Well, you know, Jason, now you're going to have to start working on your Ox Baker impression because you're looking like a little like Ox Baker to me, bro.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
You know, Jason, I got to tell you, it's so, man, just hearing your voice brings me back decades and decades because I can't help but to hear your voice and hear Owen. I mean, I know you do dozens and dozens of impressions to the T. But every time I hear Jason talk as Jason, I immediately hear Owen, bro.
That means a lot to me too. Yeah, I really miss Owen as much as everyone else, and he was instrumental as much as you are in helping me realize that dream, that 15 minutes of fame I had. And yeah, I love Owen. Good friends with Brett now too.
Oh, well, that's good to hear, bro. Well, bro, I think it was a little bit longer than 15 minutes. I mean, here we are 20 years later, bro. We're still rapping. We're still talking. You're still doing your thing. But, Jason, you and I have never really had a conversation about how this art started with you. I mean, you walked in one day and you'd started doing every wrestling imitation under the sun, the best I've ever heard, but I never had the opportunity to talk to you about the roots of your talent. How did this all start for you, bro?
Well, I guess a huge wrestling fan. Always loved the doing wrestling impressions since I was little, and I was doing some local talk shows in Canada, and really loving it. And I was getting over, and I was taking a crash college course in broadcasting, and I was just trying to do everything wrestling, really annoying everybody with that. But I got my video done.
But Jason, let's back up way before that, because you're getting way ahead of yourself. Tell me about like that first impression. Like, how old were you when you started mimicking and imitating somebody, and who was it? Who was the first person?
Okay, yeah, thanks. I've loved wrestling since I can remember, and from a very young age, I would wrestle with my little brother Johnny Bloodclot in our basement. We created a little wrestling ring, and we'd wrestle all the time. And I guess it came out as Macho Man was the first voice I started doing. So this guy right here, the Macho Man Randy Savage, who everybody loved to impersonate, I started to do his voice really well, to the point where everyone in my family was asking me for this impression. My dad would put me on, get me to do the impression for everybody. So
now Jason,
Macho Man.
Let me ask you this. How old are you at this point that you're doing Savage like that?
I guess probably 7 or 8 years old.
Oh my gosh. So then, bro, what happens? You start adding to the repertoire?
Yeah, I didn't even know I could really. It was, Macho Man was the first voice. I had watched this impersonator with my mother, Andre Philippe Gagnon, and he did the entire roster of all the musicians singing "We Are the World," and I was so taken back as a kid, and like, Mom, how does this guy do it? I don't understand how this guy can do this. And she said, it's his gift. Maybe you have a gift like that. Maybe you can do more voices than Macho Man. So there was a time with my older brother Eddie was brushing his hair in the mirror, and I was waiting for the washroom, and he's taking so long, and finally flair came out of me. I was like, You're trying to be Luger? Look at you in a mirror, Luger, with your pretty hair. Come on, Luger, give me the washroom.
Wait a minute, bro. Like, you're telling me out of nowhere you channeled Ric Flair like that, bro?
And I had not even tried the voice before. I was just trying to make fun of him. Flair was feuding with Luger, and I thought he was trying to be pretty like Luger.
You gotta give me a little bit more of that with your brother combing the hair in the mirror. Give me a little bit more, bro. Come on.
You Luger, you want to comb your hair, stand in front of the mirror, look like a narcissist? I mean, come on. You can't touch the nature of our Ric Flair and his woo locks. Woo! Kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun.
Oh my, Jason. Okay, so now we got Savage, and now we got Flair down out of nowhere. So now where do we go now, bro? Do you start working on specific voices? Do they just come to you? How do you pick and choose who you're going to do next?
Continuing to play wrestling with my little brother, we had our own organization, like papers and lists and files, and we were doing storylines and everything, and even creating the music on piano and recording it and playing it. Like we did everything. We moved the bird cages in and had steel cage matches. But I guess in the promos, doing the promos for our organization, that's when they started to come out, because I'd be coming out as Warrior. And like, I guess Warrior was the next one. The Ultimate Warrior. Feel the power of the Warrior. And it just started, I guess Hulk Hogan came after that. Brother, what you going to do when the judge, jury, and executioner runs wild on you, brother? And
Jason, Jason, you know what's phenomenal? Honestly, bro, you just did 4 impressions back to back, and you would have never in a million years known that the same guy was doing those. That's the talent, bro.
Thank you, Vince. Really means a lot to me. You put me over too much. You're too
No,
kind.
bro, you're so freaking talented, Jason. You're so talented. So now, Jason, how do you started getting into it a little bit. How do we parlay this into Jason Sensation being discovered? How do we come up with the name Jason Sensation?
Well, loving wrestling and being a huge fan of it, I always tried to imagine myself in the ring and what kind of name would rhyme with Jason, or what kind of go with Jason, like Jumping Jason or Jurassic Jason. I couldn't even think of names. So this was on me for years. What could I come up with? And it was after my sister Laura had called a talk show to get me on it. It's, you know, my friend has a hidden talent, and I went on the Camilla Scott show, and I did a bunch of impressions. And even on that show, I was getting the audience asking me for impressions that I'd never done before, that I was trying for the first time on that show, and they were coming out really good.
Jason, let me stop you right there, because we've never been down this road before. You go on this talk show now, you start doing impressions. Are you doing people outside of wrestling as well? Because I've never heard you do anybody outside of wrestling, and I'm assuming you can.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I came on with a little paper wrestling belt that I had made, and I was trying to go all down the wrestling route, but the fans did ask me, actually that was one of the questions, I mean the audience, did ask me, one of the audience members asked, can you do anybody outside of wrestling? And at the time, I was a huge Al Pacino fan, and I had just seen Scent of a Woman. So I just shot it out for the first time. Hoo-ah! I'm in the dark here, Charlie! Get me my cane. I'm in the dark here, son. Hoo-ah. And it came out, and so I guess there's a few that I could do outside of wrestling, but you know, wrestling was my forte and it's what I loved, and I was trying to use my impressions to get into wrestling.
Okay, so Jason, you're a big hit on this show. What happens from there now? So
a couple of times they bring me back on this show just because it went over so well and the repeats were getting such high ratings. So
Jason, how old are you at this point? How old are you?
16 years old.
Okay, all right, go ahead with the story.
So I'm going on this show for a couple of years now. I'm a regular on the show. They bring me back every now and then, and I have a new impression every time. One time they brought me out dressed as Undertaker, one time dressed as Macho Man. So I'm having a lot of fun on this show. And then my dad offered to pay for a crash course, college course for broadcasting. I didn't do the greatest in high school. Always, acting as the Macho Man, but I wasn't really the best in the homework. And, anyway, so my dad said, you do this broadcasting, you have such a I was working at my dad's Harvey's restaurant, and they had a microphone when you order the hamburgers. So I was using like a broadcaster voice to try to make it more entertaining, and it would actually bring people to the Harvey's. So I'd be like, one hamburger, one French fries, a gravy, and a medium Coke. And people were loving this radio voice, and I would get a lot of people saying, you should do broadcasting, you should do broadcasting. It got to my dad, who was the owner of the restaurant, and he said, hey, why don't I pay for this course? You might be able to do something. My dream, was my mom always told me I could be the next Mean Gene, and that was my dream. Maybe I could end up with the stick in the WWE. So yeah, my mom had said that could be my next dream. That could be my way into WWE, because I wasn't as physically gifted as I was with the voice. So she said, you could be the next stick man. So my dream was to be the next Mean Gene. So my dad got me into this broadcasting school, the National Institute of Broadcasting, and I utilized this school to try to catapult myself into WWE. So every radio thing, every time they wanted me to do news and sports and things of that nature, I just said, no, I'm just going to do wrestling, which, annoyed a lot of people there, but I just stuck to my guns. And, so they did a video for me, one of those demo videos. So I had that finished, and in my video demo, I made it just for WWE. So everything I was trying was, to focus on getting into WWE. And I started showing up whenever, you had the big Canadian war going on at the time with the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
So Canada was starting to get a lot more publicized, and the fans were starting to get shown a lot more. So I saw this as an opportunity. So, I would head down to the city whenever the cameras and WWE were there. At the time, Carl DeMarco had WWE Canada starting too at the time. So they had their own cameras there that they would send in for getting footage from the fans. Like when Bret Hart won the belt at SummerSlam and he came home with the title, they were filming so many of the fans at the airport, and I went down and I got on air singing "Oh Canada." I got on Raw singing "Oh Canada" with my brother Johnny. We're both singing "Oh Canada." I did a few impressions. My hair was a mess trying to make it look like Bret's. And I got on air, and that was my first time even getting close, and maybe caught some eyes with Carl DeMarco and things of that nature. And then there was a show they were doing a house show in Ottawa, and my girlfriend at the time, Teresita, she had got me this backstage pass, tickets to the show and a backstage pass to meet whoever's at the meet and greet. And it turned out to be Davey Boy Smith and Owen Hart.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Yeah. And I was my first time really up close and personal with a wrestler now. And I marked out huge. I was like, forget this lineup. And I went through the line and I just approached the table. And I'm like, guys, I can do voices. Guys, I can do any voice you want. And Owen, you could see that mischievousness in his eyes. It started running. He was like, can you do the bulldog? Like right after he had a big bowl of dog food. I'm like, I'm the bulldog. I ate the dog food. I can't believe it. I don't feel well. And Bulldog and Owen were just laughing their heads off. And Bulldog was like, I bet you can't do Owen. So I'm like, I am Owen. I'm a Slammy Award winner. Woo! And Owen was like, oh, wow. Can you do everybody?
You know why, bro? Because Owen, listen, bro, everybody tries to do the Macho Man, and everybody's got their flair. And, bro, even doing the Davey Boy, you got the British accent. But, Owen is like a voice that, you just can't do. You know what I'm saying? Nobody does an Owen, bro. And that's why I think with you, since nobody did an Owen, it was kind of like the breakthrough, and you sounded just like the guy, bro.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's funny you say that. I remember the first call I got from you, actually. And you were like, give him to me. Just give me every impression you got. So
well, bro, how did we get there? What was the bridge? So now you meet Davey Boy, you meet Owen, you do your shtick to them. Then what happens, bro?
Then Owen says, okay, I'm going to get you in the dressing room. I didn't realize at the time. Now he just wants to rib all the boys. But I'm just seeing it as my dream come true. So he's like, I'm going to get you in the dressing room, and who knows, if they like you, you might be on the road with us now. And I was just ecstatic. And they were leaving the room, and it seemed as Owen had forgotten. And someone went and called Owen and explained there was a kid in the wheelchair that didn't get an autograph, that he couldn't get to the line. And Owen came back to the room and made sure this kid got his autograph. And I was like, Owen, what about me? You said you'd bring me backstage. And he was like, okay, come on. And security even grabbed me, and he just pulled me through security. He said, he's coming with me. And we had this
that right there tells you everything you ever need to know about Owen Hart. You know what I'm saying? Because rather than leave you there and ignore you like he didn't hear you, the guy physically grabs you now, and he's taking you to the dressing room.
Yeah, such a great guy. In process of coming back to make sure a little kid didn't leave sad.
Of course, bro.
Yeah, that was Owen in a nutshell.
Yeah. All right, so he drags you down to the locker room. Now what, bro?
So now he's just taking me to each wrestler, and it's like, this guy does your voice. Give it to him. So I'm doing all these wrestlers' voices right to their faces now. The only one laughing really is Owen.
bro, are some guys just telling you suck and you don't sound like me, and who's putting it over, bro, and who's not?
Well, Dustin Rhodes was really, really nice about the Gold Dust impression, and Triple H was like, hey, that's good. He seemed to like it. But I got around to Ahmed Johnson.
Oh, my God, bro. Don't tell me you tried to do an Ahmed Johnson.
I'd never even tried it before, but Owen was like, just give it to him. So I was like, I'm Ahmed Johnson, and I'm a gang member, baby. I'm going to kill the nation. And he just...
Hey, Jason, you want to hear a funny story, bro?
Yeah.
Bro, a couple of people have asked me to try to get Ahmed Johnson on the show, you know? And, bro, I have all his contact information and everything, and I'm afraid to interview him, bro, because I'm afraid I'm not going to understand what he's saying, bro. You know, it's different when there's a bunch of people around, you know, but when I got him one-on-one like this, and I might not be able to understand them, I'm scared to death, bro. I can't even imagine you tried to do an impression in front of him, man.
Yeah, exactly. I was just basically mumbling my speech through it, and he didn't look impressed at all, but it's almost like he just nodded off to Owen, like this was Owen messing around again. So
okay, so bro, so where does it go from there now?
So at one point he said, "This is the guy you got to know," and he introduced me to Carl DeMarco, and I did some impressions for him. And that was the Canadian president at the time. I was like, "Yeah, we might be able to do something with you, kid." And finally, I guess this was Owen's big plan from the get-go, was to annoy the agent at the time, George the Animal Steele.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Do you do George? Can you do George? Oh, George loves impressions. He's a huge fan of imitations. But nobody can do George. Like you give him your best George. I'm not even going to introduce you. Just run up to him and do your best George the Animal. So I ran up to George, and I'm just going crazy at him, and he starts to swear at me, "Get him the F out of here! Somebody who get that kid back, get him the F out!" And I look back, and Owen's gone.
Oh, no, bro.
And they just throw me out of the dressing room. I guess he had done his part and given me my dream.
Oh, my God. So he leaves you in there high and dry with George the Animal Steele, bro.
Yeah. So George threw me out, and I'd had my moment there. But
bro, people don't understand, bro. Jason, I got to tell you this, because people don't understand this, because, you know, you're going back almost 20 years. And, like, bro, I remember my first time probably in 94 when I started working for the magazine, maybe 93, 94. And, bro, I went backstage, and Tony Gurria saw me. And Gurria had no idea who I was. It was my first time there. Bro, the guy grabbed me and threw me up against the wall because I was like an outsider going. It was a totally different world back then, bro.
Oh, yeah, big time. Totally. I even got kicked out when I was on contract. So.
All right, bro. So now you got your in with Carl DeMarco. Is this how we get to the next step now?
Yes, sir. You got it. So a couple of times we had now I send these videos that I had from the broadcasting company to Carl. And, you know, I got a call back. I think the gentleman's name was Jim Bell, said we're not interested.
Jim Bell. Yeah, but Jim Bell, he was like the merchandising and licensing guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. I got a call from him, and he said that I wasn't the company wasn't ready for me, or they weren't interested at the time, but they had me on file.
Okay.
So I just kept calling Carl DeMarco and saying, if there's anything you need, if there's anything I can do, I'll do it. And they were doing I think the Home Shopping Network. WWE was doing a couple of things at the Canadian Home Shopping Network. And Carl had me come in, and I started modeling the wrestlers' clothes as those wrestlers. So I would come out as Undertaker, dressed in his T-shirt, or come out as Bret, Owen, Bulldog. I did a whole bunch of guys. Even Shawn Michaels, I danced out there as HBK at one point. So this really got me over with Carl. He really liked what I could do then, and saw that I could work on air and, you know, even put promos together on the spot. So I kept bugging Carl, and he said, your time will come. Your time will come, Jason. Just, you know, keep dreaming. Yeah, don't lose faith. And all of a sudden I got a call one day from Carl after the Montreal Screwjob, and Vince was coming to TSN to do this big 2-part interview with Michael Landsberg on Off the Record. And Carl's like, Jason, there's a break in between the two shows. This could be your big opportunity. You get yourself to TSN, and this could be it. So I got myself to TSN. My buddy David gave me a ride, and I went in with a Three Stooges tie and a vest. And I was just waiting on the sidelines, just waiting for the opportunity, you know, scared, shaking in my boots. And then all of a sudden, the break time comes, and Vince was like, Carl, can you get me a water? I mean, they're drilling me here. And so Carl goes and gets Vince a water and says, maybe you need some comic relief. Here's your opportunity to meet Jason Sensation. He does all the voices. And Vince looks up and says, well, I'm sure he can't do Shawn Michaels. I said, I'm the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, and I'll kick your teeth right down your throat. And I did the old pose, and Vince was like, that's amazing. We got to get this kid on air. And then Carl says, do Vince McMahon for him. He's like, I'd love it if you could do it, Vince McMahon. And so I yelled out, welcome everyone to Monday Night Raw. And Vince was like, that's great. And then Carl said, you got to hear it, Owen. And Vince was like, Owen Hart, okay. And I am Owen Hart, woo, Sammy Award winner. And Vince was just like, oh, this is great, kid. Thank you very much. And he was, basically done talking to me then. And I waited the rest of the day. Triple H and Chyna were with him at the time. So, they were on the trip with Vince. So I watched them talk and was hoping to get a way in to talk to them, but there was no other chance to talk. Even Carl had said, you got your 5 minutes, don't worry, but I wouldn't leave until now Vince is leaving, and I'm seeing them all leave and going out this back way. So I ran out the way I came and ran around to the limo, and I got to Vince just before he got inside the limo. I'm like, Vince, I just wanted to try to tell you, please not forget me. I tried to get in before, and I've sent my video in, and if you could just please not forget me. And I'm on file with WWE already. And he said, Jason, I would find it very difficult to forget you. And he got in the limo, and it took me a while to understand what he meant by that, if that was a positive thing or a negative thing. But I realized after it was positive. And lo and behold, I got a call from Carl just before WrestleMania 14. And he said, they're doing a DX public workout, and they want to fly you in for this, and you're going to be getting a call at any time, sometime soon, from Vince Russo. So I waited, anxiously by the phone, and you ended up calling me not too far after. And that's when you were just like, give them to me. I want to hear every single voice.
Yeah, bro, tell me about that conversation. Jason, listen, bro, I'm 54 years old, and my mind is gagutsa. Bro, were you popping me like crazy on that phone call?
Oh, yeah, you were loving it. You were just loving every impression. This is amazing. This kid, you're so talented. Give me more. I want to hear every one.
I mean, bro, so you haven't even given us your Mick Foley yet, bro.
Oh, that's right. You had me do Mick at the time. Where I was doing more of a Cactus Jack and bang bang, bang bang. And, I was doing Mankind. Oh, yeah. But anyway, at the time, you were just getting me to pop them off. But that's where you stopped, was when I did Owen. You were like, do that again, do that again. And I was like, yeah, my name is Owen Hart, and I'm better than my brother Brett. And he's too damn selfish, and I'm the best damn Hart in the company. And you were just like, this is gold. Your Owen is gold. He's like, more than every other one, you said, I love your Owen. It's just I've never heard anybody do a voice like that voice, the same thing you were saying earlier. So I guess from there, I was flown down to WrestleMania 14, the public workout in Boston, where Triple H and Shawn were doing the thing with Austin, the public workout. The Triple H had me come out with Tyson and him and Shawn, even though Shawn had left the ring at the time. Something had happened where Shawn left the ring.
Yeah, there was some kind of incident or something, wasn't there? Where, now it's coming back to me a little bit. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's right, yeah. So, you were just like going out like, this is your chance. You were even boosting me up before I went out there, and they had Austin waiting to come with the limo to cut off my impression of Austin. But Triple H had me playing I was a psychic to the stars who could channel these wrestlers. And so Triple H just had me playing these wrestlers, and I was putting them down as I did them. So I did Owen, and I put on a fake nose that fell off quick. So I'm making fun of The Undertaker. DX is more powerful than The Undertaker and the force of The Undertaker. And I'm doing each guy. And then finally I put a bald cap on and did Stone Cold. And then I was like, all you fans are a piece of trash. is Shawn Michaels going to kick my tooth down my throat? And I'm flipping off the crowd, and then Stone Cold shows up in a cop car and comes out, and I just clear the ring. And in between these impressions, I was doing this psychic thing where I was convulsing because I was supposed to be a psychic. I remember that that's what I just thought at the time, that's what I'll try to do. You had said, come up with something in between each impression because you're a psychic. So I'll never forget that I got backstage, and I think it was one of the referees was talking about what was going on in the ring. And they were right beside you and Vince McMahon at the time. And they had said that Vince McMahon saw me convulsing and looked so disgusted and said, what the hell is he doing? And then that you had put me over and said, bro, this is great. This is great what he's doing. So I was lucky to have you rooting for me.
Bro, by that time, Jason, you must have, like, since this was a dream and you were always trying to get in and, you know, you did the one-on-one with Vince and all that, by the time you got to this, you must have, like, not even been nervous at all. It must have been like old hat to you at that point.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Yeah, good point. That there was not even a butterfly in me, that I went out just ready to do this, and I was so excited and ready for it.
Jason, the one thing, like, I'm telling you, bro, like, Jason, I was always a nuanced guy. And, like, we sit here now and we talk about all this, but the vision in my mind forever is the caution tape with Owen Hart, bro. I mean, the little nuances, the little thing, and that's the one thing, bro, I'll always remember and never forget. How did we or you come up with that?
Oh, yeah, well, I remember you had talked to me, prior to that, saying that I was going to be doing impressions of the entire nation. So it's funny because it got changed last minute, but I remember that's what I was practicing and trying, and I was even getting flown in to hang out with the nation to learn all their voices because I hadn't done it. I could only do Ron Simmons at the time, so I had to really work on all the other guys. And it turned out to be a last minute thing, like just the day of the show, I think DX was going to China was going to play Owen. And I was just going to be the broadcaster who did impressions in between all of them dressed up. And China didn't want to play Owen. She thought it would just be nothing that her character would do. So it all got switched last minute to have me play Owen. And then just, the other guys had to wing their impressions of everyone else. So that was all last minute, finding the nose and the caution tape and everything. It was all you writing on the spot. Like, I watched you.
Bro, it was classic, Jason. I mean, when you guys went out there and did the nation, I'm telling you, bro, I don't care what anybody says. That's top 3 of all time. If I had to name my top 3 of all time, I'll tell you right now, it's, Rock, This Is Your Life with Mick Foley. And not in this order. These are the top 3. Rock, This Is Your Life, Austin driving a beer truck into the arena, and DX doing the nation. And you know what? It'll never get better than that. Never. You'll never, ever, ever see anything better than that, bro. That was WWE entertainment at its absolute height, bro. And you were right there smack in the middle of it, bro.
Yeah, so lucky. I was really, really blessed for that opportunity. Right in the middle of, everything that was so huge at the time. It was just the perfect timing. I'm really blessed and lucky.
Hey, Jason, did they ever use you again, like, once I moved on? Like, what was the last thing there you ever did?
No, we did the parody. The DX did the parody of the corporation. And so it's funny because I called you a week before that, and I was like crying because what happened with me is my passport, I didn't have it yet, and that's how I got stopped in the middle of, I was on every week after that thing with Owen, and then, the passport situation, I couldn't get over the border without a passport because I started getting recognized by immigration. And so, now I'd been at home with the passport and the contract now, just hoping for something, waiting for something. And I was bugging you. I was calling you all the time. Vince, done anything for me? Don't worry, bro. You said, perfect timing, bro. I was just writing into the script for this week. So I came in and dressed up as Sean, as the Commissioner Sean for the corporation. But after doing that, when you and Ed left, I never did get used again. They never did use me again.
Well, Jason, I'm going to tell you this. Listen, I could talk to you for the next 2 hours. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty, right?
Yeah.
This is what I want to do, Jason. This is what I want to do. If you're up for this, okay, bro? I want to give you a little bit of time, and I want to bring you back on the show to do 2015 WWE roster. I want you to look at who's on now, the Rollins, the Reigns, maybe a little Bray Wyatt. Look at who's on that roster now. And I'm challenging you to come back on this show and give me WWE 2015 according to Jason Sensation. Are you up for that, my friend?
That's a huge challenge. I haven't, like you say so many times, the stars aren't the way they used to be. They don't have these personas that are so easy to grab a hold of and be a part of. Like, these were over the top superhero like personas that just can't be lived up to, it seems. But that is a huge challenge, and I'll
tell you the two I think you'll really be able to nail, because they have characters. They have somewhat of a character. Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to give you a couple of them I'd like you to do. Okay. I'd like to hear a John Cena.
All right.
I'd like to hear a Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to hear a Rollins. I think Rollins has a voice you could really nail.
Okay.
And you know what I'd like is a four. I'm going to give you one more, bro. I never heard you do a Paul Heyman.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
I'm going to challenge you with those four, Jason. I'm going to call you in a couple of weeks. I'm going to give you time to master them. You're going to come on here. You're going to do WWE 2015. And then me and you are going to talk about other possibilities that we've talked about, making you a part of this channel and a part of the brand, because I told you I wanted to give you your own show. You tell me you can't find somebody to record you. We got to work all that out. We'll get a better device so you don't keep going in and out every 10 minutes, and we'll have a long talk. So will you come back in a couple of weeks, Jason? I'll give you a couple of weeks to learn these voices.
Okay, you got it. That's a good challenge. I'll work on it. And I'm really honored to come back. Thanks a lot.
And then I want to work on something to bring you back on a consistent basis. I tell you, bro, you're too talented not to be doing something.
Thanks a lot, Vince. Really means a lot to me. Takes talent to no talent.
Takes talent to no talent. Well, Jason, listen, I want to thank, bro, you had me in tears before. I was crying, reliving the Owen Hart stuff all over again. That's what it's all about, bro. Fun times, memory. Jason, I've always thought you're one of the most talented individuals. I gave you a big challenge now, and I hope to see you right back here on the brand within the next couple of weeks.
Okay. And you know what? I got to believe the technical difficulties.
It had to be a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy why we're having technical difficulties, McMahon.
That had to be a man by the name of Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah, that's him.
Of course. Well, Jason, thanks for joining me, bro. I've missed you. We haven't spoken in a while, but I got to be honest with you. I feel like I just talked to you yesterday, bro.
Thanks, Vince. And big time ditto. I missed you too, brother. And it's really nice to see you and actually have this conversation back and forth. And it's real pleasure. Thank you very much.
And there's going to be a lot more, because I know when people see this, bro, we're going back almost 20 years. They may not know you. So I know when they see this, they're going to say, who the frig was that guy? Then when you come on with the new impressions, forget about, I hate to say this, bro, but the WWE probably be calling you again.
I don't know about that. May have burned some bridges over the years.
Yeah, you and me both, bro. But Jason, I'll talk to you soon. Don't go away. I'm going to wrap up, and I'm going to give you a personal goodbye. But everybody, listen, thanks for joining us here on the show. Jason's going to be back in a couple of weeks. He's going to do New School, WWE, and we're going to figure out how to get him on the show on a consistent basis. So once again, thanks for joining me. Thanks for the support. and I'll catch you all on the rebound.
The preceding presentation was brought to you by the Realm Network.